Okay, guys, welcome to my studio. Welcome in this Fractal session, Fractal tutorial. This tutorial regarding the possibility to use the really flexible and powerful routing of Fractal devices. Ciao Massimo. As you know from my side, I typically use the ambient effects in parallel. I love it. I love to use this method because this method is, let's say, the emulation of my old knowledge from the past when I use the triamping system method. Triamping, what is it? Triamping. Triamping means to have three speakers. One is dedicated to the dry signal, and the other speakers are dedicated to the wet signal, only wet signal, left and right, nothing else. Many of the most famous guitar players, like Steve Lukather, John Petrucci, Mike Landau, and so on, use such kind of method. Why? Because you have possibility to distinguish very well the dry sound from the wet sound. Okay, and you can use more effects without affects the dry signal. This is really important. This is the reason that I love to use the ambient effects, especially delay and reverbs, and the triamping method is really convenient also for the live gigs, because in the live gigs you have the separation between the dry signal and the wet signal. Okay, so of course, if you have questions, you can put the question in the chat, and I will answer you as soon as possible during the live. So let's go to see the editor. Now I'm using the AxeFX3 with a simple presets. I'm also testing the last firmware 21 beta version. The beta 4 is just available from yesterday. Thank you so much to Fractal team for this beta, because it is new also for the new Cygnus X2. Okay, sorry, just a moment. Okay, let me check. So what does mean to use the ambient effects in parallel? Okay, let's go to the editor. I can delete the delay signals. Okay, this is a really simple preset. Okay, based on Marshall amp. Okay, started from a scratch, zero scratch. Okay, I have the amp, the Brit. Okay, I prefer the Brit 800. Okay, if you want to know what is the cabinet, it is one of my favorite is the factory cabinet X GB 57A. Okay, I started to explain the delay. Okay, let's consider the reverb. Now it is in series, as you know, no problem to keep the reverb, because I use the reverb only to have to create the ambient, because I am with headphones, so I have no ambience. Ciao Marco. I have no ambience around me, so when you play with the headphone, you need to have a natural reverb. So this it is a studio reverb. Okay, I can also, let's take the metal plate with the standard. Okay, this is the default parameters. So let's start to describe the delay. So I can put the delay here, normal delay. Delay is start for D. Okay. Let's start with analog mono, for example. Okay, let's check. Okay, this is typical mono delay. First of all, what is the main point is the delay repetition. It is in the same channel of the dry signal. So this creates a lot of confusion to me, because I have in the same line, okay, the wet and dry signal. To me is not good. Not good, because I need to have the separation, because the natural human beings are stereo devices, because we have two ears. Okay, so when we hear the sound around us, we hear in a different way. We have different perception from the left side and the right side. So mono delay is, to me, is completely not natural, because it's not possible that in the nature there is a mono delay. Okay, to me it sounds really out of the world. Okay, I hope that you have the headphone with you, or monitor, studio monitor, so you have to hear you have to hear the sound in stereo. So first of all, I suggest you to use a stereo delay. Okay, we can take the digital stereo. What is the difference between mono and stereo delay? Mono, okay, is okay. The feedback of the delay run in the same wet, in the same dry signal. The stereo, there is a parameter here, is the left-right time ratio, that create a phase. Let's say it is a different time between left and right signal. Okay, so I can show you. Now, if the left and right time ratio is at 100%, it is the same like mono. It's exactly the same, because all signal run in the center. Okay. Morning, Kevin. So what's happened if I rise down a bit, not so much, a bit to 95% the left time ratio? This is magic. Okay, so I can hear the dry sound in the center and the feedback of the delay left and right. Now is in mono. The difference is so huge. So this is really important to understand that to have the ambient effect, to have more natural ambient effect, you have to work in stereo. And not only work in stereo, but you have to create, let's say, a difference between the, especially delay or reverb. Reverb itself creates this stereo image. It is a stereo effect, and it creates. It's not necessary to create. In the reverb, there is no left and right time ratio, because reverb is naturally in stereo mode. But for delay, there are two options: the mono and stereo delay. But if you use stereo without settings, the left and right timing ratio is the same that to work in mono mode. Okay, hello James. So if I rise down again more, if I decrease to 50%, okay, it's much more clear the difference, the time ratio between left and right delay. Okay, this is like is similar to a ping pong delay, but it's not a ping pong. Okay, ping pong means ta 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 ta. This is different. So my suggestion, typically I use this parameter to 95%, just to have the same delay. Okay, the repetition in this case is 500 milliseconds, but not in the same time on left and right. So create a really huge separation between left and the right channel. Okay. The other parameters, okay, it is what you know. Also, there is the possibility to set up the feedback left and feedback right. If I increase, for example, the feedback right, this is natural. Typically, when I tweak the ratio, you can see here that feedback left and right has the same value at 100% of left and right timing ratio. If I decrease automatically the feedback change from the right channel. Okay, this is natural because at the end the delay started to have a huge separation. Okay, so this is the first step to work with the delays. The second step is to work with the mixing. In this case, the delay is in series mode. What's happened if I wanted more delay? I can increase the mixing. Okay. Then the mix works in this way. I raise down the mix, so there is like a balancing between the wet and dry. When I am close to the 50%, okay, I should have the same volume of the wet and dry signal. No, this is not true. Okay, you can hear it's not true. The wet signal is higher than the dry signal, so the right balance is on 28-30% more or less. Okay, so that means that mix doesn't affect only the wet signal, but affects also the dry signal, and I don't like it. I don't like it because I wanted to have the control of the dry signal. I want to have the dry signal stay as it is, no volume decreasing. This is the reason that I like and I work with the parallel effect. It is the same situation of the triamping. In reality, to be true, the triamping method was created because the old units, the old delay units, the reverb units, as let's say in the past, as poor analog digital device, okay, for the conversion of the signal from analog to digital. So in the conversion, something was something lost, and there was let's say the dry signal was strongly affected. So for this reason, the technicians of like Bob Bradshaw, for example, in the past kept the dry signal as it is. So the analog line from the amp to the output, okay, and put all the ambient effect in parallel, okay. So no device are in the chain of the dry effect. Okay. There is some questions. What's the difference with ambient stereo delay compared to the digital stereo? Same setting, cabin play. Now I'm using the digital, Kevin, but this tutorial is valid for any kind of delay. So the difference between some delays is in the voice of the delay itself, but the concept of stereo and mono is absolutely the same. Sometimes you can find a left-hand time ratio. I will show you with other delay there is a different parameter, but the concept is the same. The concept is to keep the left and right feedback separated and not in phase. Okay. Much more latency. What does mean, William? Much more latency. Use the pitch in parallel with great result. Okay, yes, of course. I will show you later on. So, as I show you, the mix knobs affect heavily not only the wet signal, but also the dry signal. This is the reason that I love to use the delay in parallel mode. So I create this kind of connection. But please follow me. Look my eyes, guys. Look my eyes. Look my eyes. You have to understand. Because this method need to understand very well the logic of the routing. Because if you don't understand the logic behind this routing, you create a mess. Okay? Because when you connect the effect in parallel, okay, as you can see here, the dry signal is passed through without any problem. Okay, so we have to handle only I underline only with the wet effect. No dry signal has to pass in the parallel effect, ambient effect. Otherwise, there is some very bad consequences. Okay, so for example, now I put the delay in parallel. The first consequence is the volume is quite high. Why? Why is high? Because if I use the same settings of series connection, I have not only the wet effect, but I have the dry signal into this block. So I make a sum of this dry signal plus a portion of this dry signal. So I have the dry signal is multiplied by 2. Okay, for this reason, okay, I have to use the mix at 100%. And to tweak the amount of the delay, you have two possibilities. To use the output level of the block or the input gain. Okay? For the moment, let's use the level, but I will show you that it's much more better to use the input gain instead of the level. Okay, so I decrease the level. And as you can see, or as you can hear, I can work with the delay, the amount of delay without affect the dry signal. And this is what I want. I don't want to change the volume of the dry signal when I set the difference delay. Okay? This is the main reason. So, tweaking the level. I can also raise the level at 20 dB. Okay, it's too much loud, of course, but let's keep the delay at minus 11. Pay attention. It's not finished. It's not finished. This is really important to understand. What's happened if I put the delay in bypass? I show you. There is a clipping. There is a clipping, and the volume is really loud. Why? And this is the typical reason that some people write me or send me a message. Oh, why? But when I put the effect in bypass. Yes, because the effect, the block effect, just because it made to connect in the serial, as the bypass mode. Bypass mode is really important because if you put the effects in parallel, you have to remember that you cannot use anymore the through bypass, because through bypass means when the effect is bypassed, all the dry signal pass through the block, and in that case I have double dry signal, and the volume is the double. To avoid this problem, you have a different possibility to mute the FX in or mute the FX out, or mute in or mute out. Okay, depends what you want. Typically, I prefer the mute FX in. Mute FX in, that means when you bypass the effect, the tails remain. Okay? Okay, so when I switch off the delay, I have only the dry signal. So all the signal pass to the dry line, no dry signal pass through the delay block. And this is really important to remember, because if you forget, the default value is through. The bypass mode is through. So if you forget to set the parallel block with the mute FX in, when you bypass, you have a problem. Okay, so this is really important, because especially when you create some modification just before the gigs, this is typical. Just before the gigs, you remember, I need a delay in this position. Okay, I put the parallel. Okay, you forget to set up the true bypass mode, and when you go to the scene where there is no delay, the volume rise too much loud. Okay, so remember these two passages. Mix has to rise up to 100%, absolutely. So no dry signal has to pass through the effect block, and bypass mode has to set up to mute FX in. Okay? Well, why I prefer to use the input gain instead level? Because I show you. Let's assume this is a Sheen, okay, Sheen 2. Save, and I create a same Sheen. Okay, 800 is not a problem, with a different delay. So typically, instead to use the two delays, okay, with AxeFX3 you can use how many delays you want, but typically I like to optimize my presets in the proper way. So, for example, for the rhythm part, I need a small delay, okay? For example, like this. Very light delay. Let's call rhythm, okay? And then I will create a scene I call lead, where I want the delay, but with more effects, more delay. Instead to put another delay block, okay, it's true that I have 4 blocks, but as I told you, I like to optimize the effect. I can use a different channel. So I typically copy the channel A to channel B. It is really important to use the same delay type, not different. So I go to the channel B, and for example, I raise the level to 404. Sorry, 400.2. 4.2, sorry. Now I make some crazy values, but it's only to make an example. Let's make the feedback also longer. So save. What's happened when I change from the lead to the rhythm? So when I change from two different delay channel, if I change the level, the new scene bring the volume of the tails at the new level settings. So I will show you better, because it is important that you I rise. Okay, this is the rhythm. I change. Okay, use a longer feedback. When I change to the lead, you can hear the feedback is louder. Why? Because it takes the new level settings. And in the opposite, when I switch from lead to rhythm, okay, it's the same. This is really bad. It's not natural. Okay, because when I change the scene, the delay takes the value of the value of the level. Okay, so the trick to avoid this problem is to keep the level. For example, let's say to the lead value. Okay, minus. Minus 10. Okay, this is crazy value, but it's only to make a new example. So, let's copy the B channel to the A channel. So, when I switch to the rhythm part, okay, instead to tweak the level, I raise down the input gain if I want less delay. Because with input gains affects only the input signals and the tails remains as they are. Okay? I'll show you. Please look the scene, because the scene is similar. Look the scene or the A-B channel of the delay. When I change the scene, I can still hear the previous value of the feedback delay. This is because I'm using the input gain. So my method is to create the lead, to set the level for the lead, okay, then copy the lead channel delay to the rhythm part and decrease the input gain. Okay? Remember, if the input gain is at 100%, I have the same value between rhythm and lead channel. So the difference between these two channels is only the input gain, and this helped me to keep the same levels of the feedback delay. Okay, and this is valid for any kinds of ambient effects that have the tails, like a reverb, of course. I can show you, for example, the plexi verbs. That is a really nice effect. So let's put a plexi delay in parallel. Okay. First of all, I have to raise up the mix. Let's take, for example, the Plex Verb. I love this effect, guys. Okay, I set the mix to the 100%, but don't forget to mute FX on the bypass. When I switch off the Plex delay, I can still continue to hear the tails of the reverb. This is because of mute FX in. This is too much, so I use the level. To give you an idea what means to use these effects in stereo or mono, simply I can put the cab with mono effects. So you can hear what is the definition of the stereo image, and also you can play also the rhythm part without to make let's say a mess of the sound. Mono is because all the sound is in the center, creates a jam. With the stereo separation and stereo image, you can have more effects without create any jam, and it's much more better, absolutely. So the same things as for Plex delay. If I wanted to have different Plex effect with different amount, I can copy A channel to B channel, for example. Copy A channel to B channel, and when I switch to B channel, even in this case, I use the input gain, not the level. I keep the level as it is, okay, and I only tweak the input gain. So when I switch between the scene, I keep the same the volume of the previous tails, and this is really important. So, well, this is ambient effect. There is another ambient effect that I like to put in parallel with the pitch, as maybe Kevin says, or I don't know who. Kevin, yes. If I use the pitch in parallel, the same method, I can use the same method. So mix is 100%, but the sound is really bad, okay? Because we have to create a detune effect. How to create the detune effect? Use this method. So you have two voices, okay? Voice left and right. First of all, you have to create left and right voice. Then you can detune the left voice -12, for example, okay? And the voice 2 +2, 12, sorry, more or less. It's up to you. You can tweak as you want. And now, thank you so much, Joe S95. Thank you so much for the sponsorship. Thank you so much. This is amazing, okay? Because we have the wet, left and right, and the dry in the middle. So you have 3 voice effects, ambient effects. Because the pitch is like an ambient. It's not really ambient. The sound is not a delay sound, but the tuning of 3 voice create a huge stereo image. But there is a problem. While the delay and reverb has not the initial dry effect, so the delay and reverb give you the feedback of the effect. The pitch is sounds in the same time of the dry signal. So when I switch on the pitch, the volume of the signal increase. Remember to, it's important to put the mute FX in also for this, otherwise. So the volume is loud. You have to take care about this, okay, because you can have a different synth level. So you have many possibility. You can adjust the level, the scene level, for example, from the level from the scene that has the pitch on and off. Or I suggest you to keep the pitch value. In this case, you can use the level because you have you don't have any tails. The typical value is -6, -7. The pitch effect is really nice because it's remember very well the 80s, 90s sounds. Steve Lukather, Mike Landau, and many other guitar players use a lot of the pitch, the tune in this method. I suggest you to don't keep so much high the pitch on the distortion sound, but it's of course it's up to you. For example, I can switch on the dry. It's very, let's say, 80 sound. For me, it's too much these settings. This is really nice with the clean sound. For example, let's create a scene with the for example, clean. Maybe I have this one. Let's check if I have a clean sound. No, we can create one. This double verb Nolba. Okay. So in this case I copy the channel A to channel B. I switch to channel B for this scene, and I can raise up the level. This is amazing. can make a lead with more drives. Okay, so I hope I was clear. If you have some question, I see some question from Ignazio. Marco, I usually run delay and reverb in series with the mix parameter around 20. Okay, I like to have a stereo delay going into stereo reverb, and I don't hear a volume drop on the direct signal. Yes, because as I explained before, when you stay in the 20%, you don't have any drop of the dry effect. We started to have a drop over 30%. Okay, if you stay below the 30%, you have no dry effect drop. I explain. If you rewind the video, you can see. Okay. Please, Ignazio, you can see the previous explanation of this reason. You can stay up to 30% more or less, and you have no effect to the dry signal. Over 30%, 40%, you can start to hear more wet and less dry effect. So if the parallel method let you to have the same dry effect, okay, and you can tweak the delay sound as you want. Kevin, if you adjust the delay time on the pitch, you about 20 to 30 milliseconds, you will be overkill of the tune. Yes, you can. Of course, you can also increase the amount of the tune with increasing the delay time. For example, exactly. Create a bit delay, yes, it's correct. This is the mono effect. So the difference is really huge. This is the reason that I like to use the all parallel effects, because this method is really close to the effect rig from the recording studios. In the recording studio, practically you have the same situation. You have the microphone, okay, and you assume that the microphone output is this one from the cabinet block. Then the microphone goes to the mixer, and you put all the ambient effect in parallel, just in the same situation. Of course, you can also create a series and parallel. Why? For example, I can shift the delay in this position, the plex delay, sorry. So I can create the parallel, okay. And I also create the connection between the delay. So in this case, not only the dry signal is effect of the delay, but also the delay signal. This is really nice because the feedback of the delay goes into the plex delay, and I can make the same with the pitch. And to do this, I can make this link. And this is the really unique feature of Fractal that can create so very complex routing. It's much better because I apply the plex delay effect, the plex verb in this case, not only to the dry effect, but also on the pitch effects and also to the delay effect. I can show you something magic. I can make these things. It is pretty amazing. I can create a duplex delay. Okay, this one go here. This one go here. This is is incredible, but there is a real logic for this. So I add another plex delay, but I don't want that the sound of this plex delay goes directly in parallel with the dry effect, but this delay go directly to the other plex delay. It is a daisy chain connection. And for this effect, for example, I select the golden shimmer. Yeah. What's happening if I put in direct in parallel with the dry? It's not the same. To me, it's amazing. I don't know any other device that can do this. This is amazing. So, what is the reason that I created this link? Because I keep the dry signal. I go to the plex delay, but in a golden shimmer. But I don't put the output directly in parallel. But I put the output on the plex delay, and that's create such is like a keyboard pad. Is fantastic. So let's do this also, and this is really nice to, for example, to create something like this. I want to extend my rig with, for example, feedback send. Okay. Okay, I go here to create a feedback return. Return volume level, okay, and I put, for example, the no, I put the reverb here, okay, okay, and I put the loop here. Where is looper? Eccolo qua, ecco, looper here, okay. And I go to the lead scene. Okay, everything is switched off. Okay, and I show you what's happened if I okay, I record this phrase on the looper, so I switch on the lead. Can also switch on the plex delay, also with the lead. Maybe I'm too high. Okay, I hope everything is clear. If you have any questions, please write down the question below the video. If you are interested, I also my Discord channel where we can, it's Italian Discord, but we can also speak in English, no, it's not a problem. You can find my Discord channel address on my website, marcofanton.it. You can subscribe to the channel and you can create your question or follow me on my Discord. Of course, you can write down your comments. Okay. Thank you so much, Kevin. See you. Have a nice weekend to everybody. And put a like. Click on like of this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye.